But if you put it in Q developer, it will tell you. If you put in QCLI that this is my prompt, how many tokens it would be, in Claude it will tell you that.
Yeah, usually for the cost optimization and all, if you are building something in Amazon, you usually use the cost calculator. So that's why I'm asking. Like
cost calculator. So if you put the number of tokens, so it will not tell you still.
No, not like if you're planning an app and if you're looking for the viability and the whole cost of it, we usually use the cost calculator.
Correct.
If you're building it in Amazon. Like we put all the instances, the LBS, whatever we are using in the same thing, we put it in. Like, is there anything? Well, that was the question.
No, means
yeah,
Amazon
if you can
Bedrock,
find the token, that's also fine.
But yeah, if it will comment. So as far as I know, Amazon Bedrock right now doesn't support Bedrock pricing. That's what I know. I need to check it once if it's added. But for there also, you need to add your number of prompts that you're going to put there. So sorry, number of tokens that is going to put there, like input and output tokens. That will give you a result out there. So, but Bedrock is not there as part of the pricing calculator. That's the reason is because the models, since it's a catalog of models, and some models are not built in as an AWS product. It's a marketplace based product. So it's directly can't be calculated as a pricing calculator. That's why it's not coming in a pricing calculator thing. So we tell customers to manually multiply by 1,000 and then do it, and we also give it in the same way. But if it comes into pricing calculator also, it will not tell you that this is a number of words and prompts. What is going to be the number of tokens to it? Yeah. Yeah, I think there is going to be a conversation going on that for some of the models we can add it, especially for Titans and other things. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's added or not. I'm not sure on that part. Any more questions on it? Anything that we have discussed till now? Yeah. So every model has a different pricing. For example, if you're not creating a generative AI application, if you want to do something like for any batch job, consider any batch job, but your batch job is using an LLM at the back of it. So we don't tell you to do it through an pay-as-you-go model. You can use a batch inference. It will be cost effective for you. It's a very recently launched feature, maybe 5-6 months back.
Can we use the external LLM models using Olama or local models and use it?
So not a local model. So Amazon Bedrock has a feature of importing your own models, but that model should be hosted on SageMaker only. So you can import the custom models into Amazon Bedrock and use it to get the features of Agentic AI, RAG and everything, but that model should be in Amazon SageMaker. Then what do you need to use in Bedrock on that model? Because you already have a model. What do you need to use on it? No, you can't directly use that. You can use a model, you can import the model in SageMaker, but the model that is running on, because again, if you think about a Bedrock, ideally it's a service to offer you the foundational models with an API thing. These features are add on top of it. So you can't bake the base thing out of it and then use the features. That's a plug and play. That's the features of using a Bedrock. But yes, if your models are hosted on SageMaker and you're using any model from SageMaker Jumpstart, you can definitely import that model into, not all the models, but some of the models could be imported into Amazon Bedrock and use it. But not with, you can't use Bedrock features with a model that is hosted on local machine or some other cloud provider. A SageMaker model needs to be imported and then could be used. And then if you look into, for example, you can't direct. So like I said, that all the models need to be accessed through an API. So where do you get that APIs from? If you click into that model, for example, if I click on Nova thing, first it will show me what the model ideally does. So it can do the code generation, the complex, like I said, each of the large language model is built to perform a specific job. So if you look into the categories, it shows that it can do text generation, text summarization, translation, RAG, question answering, multilingual support. Then it shows the model ID, which you will need when you want to call the API, then the modality of it. And then if you wanted to see that, how do you want to use this thing? You just need to go to code examples, click on it, and then if you click on the next part, you'll see how can you use it. So yes, so there are when you're using any of the Bedrock models, there are two ways to do it. You can say now 4 ways, but ideally there's just 2 ways to do it. That is converse and invoke. Invoke model is a way of calling the Amazon Bedrock model, which is the older way of doing it. So, and the converse is the newer way of doing it. So invoke is an older way because in invoke, it was just possible to do a singular conversation at the end of the day. With converse API, you can have a multi-turn conversations with the same, so in same function, you can call agents, RAG, as well as the models, but that was not possible in the invoke model, which was thing. So if you click on the invoke model thing, you'll get a example of it. For example, these are the things that it supports. So you just click on the Python code, it will show you how can you call it through a Python code. So it just shows that's the Boto. You just import the Boto3 library. You just need to call the Boto3 client. Then this is the model ID that has been used, and then the simple conversation that what is your role, and then what is the message you want to pass it as to the model to get you that's the prompt. The conversation usually puts the prompt out there, and then it's just the other hyperparameters that you're passing here. That's the max tokens and other things, nothing else. This is how you can just directly if you just integrate this part of the code into your application, you're just directly calling the API there. So right now you can call it through Java, JavaScript, Python and .NET. Any doubts on this? Similar way with the invoke model as well. It's a similar way of doing it, but yes, the way it calls and the prompting is different. If you look into that thing, you can have a multi-turn conversation there because the user persona and everything was different. So this is how you do it, and then you can get it for all the models. So you can get it for the Amazon Titan models, the Claude models, same thing. The Converse API, the Invoke model API, and other things for Cohere and DeepSeek. So this is how you integrate the API part of it. So on the top of it, if you looked into it, you've got the providers, which basically shows that which providers we have and what is the model we have in, and then marketplace deployments. Usually you have the models which you told that you have a set of models also there. For example, you will find better here. So this thing, you've got all these models, and if you click on the Bedrock models, these are the models that are not directly available through Amazon Bedrock, but are available through the Bedrock marketplace. That is the Writer ones, the Voyage ones, the Windin ones, the Solar Pro. These are models that are available through Bedrock marketplace, and then there are models which are directly available through this thing. The difference is again the same. The models that are available as a Bedrock inference, there you need to create an inference endpoint and then use it. These models you can directly use, the Claude Opus, the Claude Sonnet, the Sonnet, Claude Haiku. And how do you use it? Same way like we saw previously, that you need to have that code integrated into your application by either using a Invoke model API or using a Converse based API. Then we were talking about the customizations. We talked about customizations. We talked about fine tuning, continued pre-training. Distillation is also a method of it. So distillation is nothing. It's just when you break a larger model into a smaller model, that's called as the distillation process of it. It's written there as well. That to provide a label or unlabeled data to generate a synthetic data from a larger foundational model and used to train a smaller model. When you create a smaller model from a larger model, that is called as a distillation process. That's another part of customization. And then fine tuning, then continued pre-training. When you put fine tuning, you just need to select the model, whichever is applicable, and then provide a data set. So like if you go to this fine tuning job, it will ask for you the model name. You need to select a model here. These all models are supported for customization. Usually these are all Amazon based model. For example, if I select this model, I can have a name there, and then I need to put the label data here, the validation data set and the S3 location where my data set would be stored in the labeled format. And once I do this, I just need to make some parameter changes out there. For example, if I play with this parameter changes, either I can make it auto or I can change the custom. These are the major parameters that usually the large language model have. You have got number of steps, the epochs, the batch size, the learning rate and everything. And then the output data would be stored in this here. So that's how you basically go ahead and use a custom model. Similarly, with the continued pre-training also, you'll do the same job. So this is how you basically go ahead and use the customize your model. And then I think when we talked about, then is another approach is to use the imported model, like we were discussing. I think that how can you import your own model. So like I said at that time, to import a model, you need to create a custom model by importing your model file from S3 bucket key, but you can't import any other model apart from the SageMaker model. So your model needs to be in SageMaker. But yes, once it's in SageMaker, you can import that model. And after the import, you can use that model in the Amazon Bedrock playground or in your application. What does this mean? That you could utilize all the features of Amazon Bedrock from the agents to the RAG-based approach, to the guardrails, to the everything. So you can use everything out there. So this is what it is. So any doubts still here that how can you find the models that are there in Amazon Bedrock? What is the marketplace models? How do you customize the model? How do you import the model? Anything? No, first Hugging Face is directly not available out here. So if you go to Hugging Face things, you can just deploy that model in Amazon. No. So first thing, Hugging Face models are not available in the Bedrock, but Hugging Face models are available in SageMaker Jumpstart. So you can go ahead and deploy. So if you go to any of the Hugging Face model also, there is an option to deploy that from SageMaker playground. That's the way to do it. Now you can't download the model. So you can only download the models when you want to say that is also not downloadable. You just can customize the model by giving a data set. Any of the models that are available in Bedrock, the base model you can't download out there. But yes, you can deploy the Hugging Face model on the Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart, like we discussed on the starting. That Jumpstart has a bunch of models available. You can deploy directly using the SageMaker SDK. Any other things in model, how to use it? I'll just go into playground as well, but yeah, just before that, anything? It depends. So which model are we talking here about? Titans and? Oh, embedding models. Okay, we'll come to embedding models. I think the differentiation would be we're just going to embedding model. So yeah, we'll come to that because I'll cover the RAG in the next part. So this is also a new feature, but very good feature out there which is recently launched. It does not support a lot of models right now, but this is a routing thing. Like if you guys have worked on the load balancer stuff, this is pretty similar for so this was one of the most asked feature from a lot of our customers, that they wanted a router. So this is a default router. What it does is that it basically routes the request between two different models. Right now it just supports only two specifications. One is Sonnet and Haiku. Other is Llama 7 billion and Llama 80 billion. So why does people need it? Once that if they need a model to respond in a less latency or some other thing, it could route to a different model. If they want a cost-effective approach, they can route to different models. So, a kind of routing based on thing. This was earlier customer used to have a custom routing mechanism there. Now we have tried adding a default router, but yes, all the models are right now not supported. But yes, this is one of the most asked feature, and we are evolving it. The prompt router was just launched 3-4 months back. But this is a very useful feature where you can route the request between multiple models based on a set of metrics. Any doubts on this? I think we have not discussed this in the deck, but yeah, this is also very important. Now, so you've got a playground as well where you can just go and play around to check the model, how many input output tokens, what is the efficiency of it. If you go to the playground, you get an option of selecting the model. If I go and select the model, maybe for example Amazon, I select a Titan text model, I can go there and I can basically put anything what I write here. So I can just create anything, maybe whatever you prefer. I think we discussed about the diet chart, so I will just put that. And temperature top P and is the so to top temperature is the randomness in your response, and top P and top K are the parameter. Top P is the character the most probable responses will be taken. So more higher the value of top P is, the most probable responses will be taken. The more lower value, it will take the most probable, and then it goes on to the thing. And temperature is the more randomness in the response. The more I increase the temperature, the more randomness will increase in my response. So if I just create a diet chart, it somehow gave me the diet chart. So that's how you can change the model, play around with, see that. So what is the good thing about it? One, it gave me that what is going to be my pretty much my token. So if you look into, there was four words to it, but the input tokens are somewhere around 6 or something. So it depends. So and then output token, because it gave me something, and the latency. So you can get the input, output, and the latency on the top of each of the model when you look into it, and then you can play to see that how. So this is just for you to set up a base for your application, because like the one of the question was there also in the quiz, that when you don't want to code and just check the efficiency of model, how many tokens it's taking, and then how you can play with the randomness of it. Once you are pretty happy with the model, then you need to integrate the API into your application. For example, if I go, you can also have guardrails there. You can just manage the guardrails, and you can create the guardrails also. You have to check that, is it applying the guardrails in the same way you want it or not? This is the way you want it, you can do it. So this is where we recommend customers to play it. Not just the chat option, you can also have the, so okay, this was single. So you can just select the model. 1 minute. So if you go here, and you can also have a playground for image and video things. That was for chat things. So here your model have for image generation model is there, the video generation model, both from Amazon, and the stability diffusion. So you can use this model to generate an image. For example, if I put this image generator, and then I put any maybe. So something like this. So whatever you put there, so it'll create an image for that. That was a main of creating a text around it. So this is for creating the images, the videos. You can use even the Nova Reel feature to create a 15-second or a 15-second or a 120-second. That's 2 minutes of video. You can also create out from it based on set of images. You can also provide an input prompt to create videos, or you can also provide images to create a videos through that. So you just don't have it. For example, if your use case requires an image generation or a reel generation or a video generation, you can play around with it, check what is the number of input output prompt, what is the result you are getting, and once you get those things, you can just basically use that thing to see that which model is perfect for you. Anything in this, the model, how do you try it out and other things? Anybody? Model, APIs, invoke, model, converse API, different models, prompt routers, how to import it, custom models and other things?
So there is no playground for Amazon Nova model, right?
There is. Which Nova model are you talking here about?
Speech recognition.
Oh, Sonic. Sonic is not there. Nova's Canvas and Reel is there, just the Sonic is not there. So what they're planning to add another prompt to it, the playground, from chat, image and videos to the audio as well. So that's where I think the Sonic will come. Otherwise it will come. Correct. Yeah, so Sonic is not there. But yeah, other Nova models are there, but Sonic is not, because they're going to either add it to the chat or text, or basically they are going to add another to it. So that's why. So this is about it. Any questions on this apart from, should we move to RAG? Models, APIs, invoke model, converse API, playgrounds, how do we calculate the input output tokens, where do we see it, anything? When do we use prompt routers? cost it will not show here, but it will show the input output. Then you can, so example, if there's an Amazon pricing, the Bedrock pricing page. So for this, so for playing in Playground, you will not pay anything. It's restricted to a set of numbers, but Playground, it's free for you. You can check the efficiency of it in Playground. So it will not let you do the production ready things, everything. But yeah, just for trial, you will not pay anything in Bedrock Playground. Playground is free for you. It's just playing and it's checking which model is thing. Until you don't integrate your APIs and then get the results, Playground is free for you. So when you go to Amazon Bedrock pricing page, you will find the pricing for each one of them. For example, if I go to maybe the Claude's model, I can see that for 1,000 input tokens, you've got $0.015, and for 1,000 output tokens, you've got $0.07. So that's how you can calculate it. Yeah.
It's completely free, the background, even generating images.
I mean, it's restricted to a number. So how you can generate it and you can't use it. So again, it's restricted to a number. Then you start, either it gets throttled or you need to pay for it. So it's not for prediction, it's just for playing and checking it out. So you have a restriction at account level, how you can, till what you can use the playgrounds. It'll start giving you the API throttling errors after some time. But yeah, if you want to try it out, it's a very good number that you can play and check which model is good, which model is, but yeah, if you wanted to use it as a production ready, yes, so it's just for checking the models and everything. But yes, the numbers are good that you can ideally try out the model and check that which is better in terms of latency, cost, performance and everything. Then the knowledge bases, the RAG based approach. So I said it's a plug and play out there. So if I go to knowledge bases, you can just click on create. So it will ask you for 3 different stuff. Create with a vector store, create with a structured data store, and create with Kendra. So you can ignore the Kendra right now. It's again a service which has an indexing. It's an enterprise data search service that we have. But yeah, ignore that. If you go with knowledge base with vector store right now, you will just have to choose a data store. Like I said, the data store where you are storing the data could be an S3 bucket. You could crawling it. You could use Confluence, you could use Salesforce, you could use SharePoint, or you can use a custom data source as well. So anything. But this is all the unstructured data that you're talking here about. So it's all, because it's all crawl data if you look into it. So it's all unstructured data, it's not relational data. So you can choose any of the data source. For example, let me choose S3 out there. So if I choose S3, I just need to go to, okay, I need to put the name. Okay, it's already created. I can go to next. Next, it asks me for account where my S3 bucket is. For example, if I go ahead and select any of my S3 bucket, so if I choose my S3 bucket, then it will ask me for the parsing strategy to see that how the data would be processed. So either you can use the default parser. This is how the data would be parsed at the end of the day, and then or you can use the foundational model to parse your data to basically do it, and then chunking. So there are 2 different strategies. One is the parsing strategy, and second is the chunking strategy. So to evolve the result, you can play with the chunking as well as the parsing strategy. The chunking strategy is that if it's a bigger text, how does it break it into smaller text to give you the more relevant result and more accurate results? That's the chunking strategy before embedding it. Parsing strategy is how does the data gets processed when you're doing it. So either you can use a default parser where you process text based on the data only, or you can have a data automation as a parser, or you can use any of the foundational model to do parsing for you. If the data how it is parsed needs to be in a particular format, you can use a foundational model as a parser, and then same with the chunking thing. So in chunking thing, if I select it here, you will see there are multiple chunking. There is default chunking that splits text into chunks of 300 tokens in a size. By default, if document is less than or already 300 chunks, it doesn't split. Then you have fixed size chunking where you can, so since default chunking is 300 token size, fixed size chunking, you basically decide that what is going to be chunking size of your thing. Then it's a semantic searching where again it's a hierarchical searching where it's the top, like hierarchical thing. You have got A, then A points to be like a tree-based stuff. It's a hierarchical chunking. So you can use a hierarchical based chunking out there to use that. So it will organize it into the hierarchical, the parent-child relationship thing. Semantic chunking, it basically breaks the text into sentences and the words, and then the words would be, the way it would be retrieved is that it will use a semantic relationship like we discussed about the embedding. So chunking will also be, so not just the vector DB thing would be semantic, but the chunking would also be semantic there. So again, it's again the trade-off is again with the cost of much, you go to a much more chunking strategies, the way it cost becomes different for you. So you've got default chunking, you've got a fixed size chunking, hierarchical chunking, semantic chunking, and if you don't want, if it's a very small data, you don't want to get into anything, you can have a no chunking as well. So two things, parsing how the data would be processed, and then how the larger data would be chunked into a smaller data if you need it for the relevancy of it. Otherwise you can go with default chunking or no chunking. But a lot of use cases you may need a chunking because, for example, there are multiple pages that you are extracting the result from. For it's a book, then you need a relationship to be defined there. Otherwise, the data may get lost. It may be a lossy data. So I think you got, then that's the thing. Then here you choose the embedding model, like I said. So you've got an embedding model of Amazon and you've got an embedding model of Cohere. That's one, and then Cohere's embedding model. That's the one. Cohere supports multilingual. That's it could support a multilingual. If data is in multilingual, it supports that. Second, I'll just show you, not here. I'll just show you in this that you can compare it from here. I'll just go to. So if you go here to providers, let's open Amazon's. That's your first model, and so that's how you usually compare the models. That's the way how I'm telling. So you go to model catalog, you again choose the Cohere's model, you choose the embedding model here, and then you now I've parallelly opened both of them. Now I'll check where the parameters are changing. So you don't need to think about what, so you just need to go by the word. So one is what is an output vector size? It's 1034 default and 384 and 256. Where is it? Okay, this is it. And then you have got the max token size, the modularity, why it's not opening. Okay, then you've got again dimensions here is same. So if you look into the max token also, one thing, the max tokens are better in the Cohere's embed model. When you compare with Titan, it's just 128 tokens here. And here you've got 512 tokens. Second, if you go to language, it just supports English. It supports 108 languages. So that's the thing. And then you also can look into the dimensions of it. So here it supports in terms of dimensions is same as in vector size. So it's almost same. It's almost same, but yeah, tokens and languages, there you can play with the embed thing. But again, and then third thing what you check, you go to we have already opened it, you go to the costing page, check, see a trade-off and see that what model you need to select. Costing wise, yes, the Cohere's model would be expensive than the Titan's model, but yes, if you want a max token size there, go with the Cohere's thing. If you want a multilingual support, go with Cohere, otherwise go with. So how much can be passed as an input, the max token size? Yeah, yes, the token size. Got it? This.
What I'm thinking is like the embedding model, does it have any dependencies to the LLMs that we going to use? If I choose one using one embedding model, after some time, can I use another LLM?
LLM as in the LLM of the main model.
Yeah, the main model. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a different flow. You can put it to anything and you use it. That shouldn't. Yeah. Correct. If I will come to the flow, no. So you'll understand that. So we have sorted till data source. We'll go to the flow and we'll understand it.
It's possible.
Yes. So now, so what we have, okay, I need to also tell you about DeepSeek. That's how I opened it. So this is here. We have talked about chunking, parsing, data source, and we have just talked about the unstructured data source. Now we go to vector stores. So you can select either Aurora, Postgres, Neptune, or you can just select the other things out there in terms of it. We selected this thing. We go to next. Okay, sorry. We put it, or you can use any existing data store. When you choose the other existing data store, you have got options from Amazon, then you have got options from others, like I was telling, Pinecone, Redis, and MongoDB. We have introduced it because a lot of customers were using it in the so that's why you're using it. But yes, Amazon based is just OpenSearch serverless, managed clusters, Aurora, and Neptune is for the tree or what you say, the graphical database. So we've got a special connector. Yes, exactly the same. Neptune is exactly the same as Neo4j. So you don't need to play with why did you get these things? You'll not get these things in the Coheres model because it doesn't support it. If you still remember the sheet which we opened, it shows that you can have a default size of this, but you can reduce it to 328, 384 and 256. But Cohere didn't have this. It just supports, yes, that's again the thing. So that's how you select models and everything. Then you can have a floating point and other values. Then you use maybe a quick store. I'll again choose it. Go to next. See, here just is created. It doesn't have any dependency on the model that has been used. It never asked you what is the model. This is a different workflow. Now with the same model, you need to add this as a function there. That it will use this as a knowledge based thing. And if you're using invoke model, you need to create two functions. The best thing about Converse is that if you use a Converse API rather than an invoke model API, in the same function you can call both of them. So same knowledge base could be used with multiple functions. So if you look into it, I am at the creation of knowledge base. It has not asked me which LLM it is going to give context to. I've just created my knowledge base workflow.
So it will pull all the data from that
S3 bucket. It will take all data from S3 bucket. It continuously sync. So didn't it ask for the sync time? I think it will ask after it's created. So let it. So for example, if I have a knowledge base here, and if I go there, its option is sync. So every time you sync it, it syncs the data from your model too. You can create a pipeline as well, and you can just sync it. So every time you sync it, the new data gets converted to embeddings and stored into the vector DB. So you can create a pipeline for sync as well, or you can have, nobody does it manually, but yes, you can create a pipeline, or you can say that whenever you can add documents in S3 from here as well, or you can just basically go ahead and sync it. So every time it gets synced, the data that has been changed, the incremental data will get changed into embeddings and stored into the vector DB. So now your vector DB has all links. This is again very important part of the RAG based things. So that's what I was saying, that it's so easy in an Amazon Bedrock to create the RAG. It seems very easy right now for a web because it's a plug and play, touch. But if you go ahead and create this same setup in an unmanaged setup, it is an overhead task. From creating from using an embedding models to creating a vector DB to integrating your data source with an embedding model, it's a task. And you've just seen, it just took me maybe just matter of 2 to 3 minutes to create a full knowledge base setup, and I'll take more 1 or 2 minutes to integrate add a function into my main code. So that's how easy it is to create. And you may seem it's very easy for you, but if you move out to a different setup, this creation of RAG based setup may take days for people, because they will create a vector DB, they'll integrate the chunking, parsing, they'll write the codes for it, they'll create an embedding model, integrate the embedding model there. And you can even test the knowledge base as well. If you want to test, you can just test it by source chunk, like I said, the search type, filters, guardrails and everything. You can test basically, because I don't know what is there in S3 bucket, you can test in S3 bucket that it does your result is coming from the S3 bucket or not. It will show that it's coming from the same source. So I don't know what is there in S3 bucket, but yeah, with the actual source you can just test it out. You can just run it here. It will show you the same thing, that it's coming from the same S3 bucket. If anybody has any doubt on this, anything? your question is answered. Correct? Yeah. Yeah.
Is there API for Node.js?
For?
For operations in Node.js, is there any APIs?
For Node.js.
Node.js, embedding model creation.
Yeah. So you can have, so you will have an API. So this is just to show you guys, there's an API for everything. You can have an API for creation. I mentioned there's an API. So I'll create an API. I'll show you the API also.